What's up guys, so today I have 5 tips for you to make your retro game collecting experience a lot better. You might already be doing this stuff, you might not be doing it, or you might be, new to this hobby and you might want to, know how you can make your life easier. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Number 5. Keep a list, okay? As a lot of you guys know, I've been working on this for a while. I'm going for a complete Xbox 360 collection. So inside this folder, I have a list of games. I put check marks next to the games I own, and games that I give to a friend or sell, I put a line through so that I know to buy that game again. It's really simple and easy to do. All you need is a printer and ink and a folder, and you can just take these with you wherever, and you never end up, losing track of what you have. Because, once you start building up your collection pretty big, you'll go to flea markets or yard sales and see things, you're like, do I already have that? And you're not gonna know. So you can always refer back to these. It's almost like, a strategy guide for a game, except you make it yourself and you know how to keep track of it. And you might only be going for games from, let's say you're only going for Square Enix games and you don't know what you have, or you're only going for Capcom or that kind of stuff. You can just print out your list and be good to go. I've been doing it for forever and it works. It works. It makes everything easier and just a lot more enjoyable when you're out there hunting for games, because you don't gotta spend so much time, thinking, oh my god, do I own this game? Because you don't ever want to buy something a second time, especially if it's something that's a little bit more expensive. Number 4, so this one is a bigger tip, if you get what I'm saying. So once your collection starts getting bigger, you might not have enough room, right? I live at home, I'm a college student, so I live at home. That's all of my collection I can put out, because I don't have enough room in my room to really display it. So what I ended up doing is I have shoe boxes and caboodles. Up there you see a lot of boxes, they're all full of games, and random things full of games up there. Down there you see a caboodle full of games, you see a amp box full of games. A lot of people always think this is an actual amp. It's not. It's just a box that the amp came in. And then there's a gym bag full of games, and on this side, more stuff full of games. This is a Rock Band peripheral. There's games inside those shoe boxes as well, and there's games all up inside of here. I actually kind of use this more for keeping consoles in than I do games. Oh my god, if I can get it out. This is where I keep all my Wiis and random Nintendo consoles, because there's so many, and a lot of them I don't necessarily collect for, so I just keep them in there. And I keep a lot of the shoe boxes under my bed, so it just makes my life, a little bit easier keeping track of everything. And so they're good to protect things. But what are you gonna do if you have bigger boxes, like let's say Nintendo 64 boxes, or Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, I guess Atari stuff too even? You don't want to put them in a shoe boxes for them to get damaged. So what you do instead is take computer boxes, TV boxes, whatever you have, and pad them up, right? With everything you can find. You gotta pad them up with everything you have. I pad mine with styrofoam. There's so much styrofoam in these, keeping games safe. And it's really a smart thing to do when you don't have a lot of room. Eventually I have room to put it all up and it'll look beautiful. But hey, I don't have that right now. Number 3, make friends in the retro market. Make friends in the retro community. There's places on, Reddit, r/game collecting. It's actually one of the better Reddit communities. It's like probably the only one that isn't toxic. And then there's Facebook groups for retro game collecting. There's Twitter groups for retro game collecting. There's Instagram pages dedicated to it. Tons of YouTube channels dedicated to it. Just get yourself out there and, start making friends with people who collect. And one of the good parts about marketing yourself out there and, making friends and connections in the retro community is you might have a friend over here, right? And he might be, looking for Resident Evil on PlayStation 1. And you might be looking for a Pikachu Game Boy Color. And he might find that Pikachu Game Boy Color at a yard sale or something, and he'll call you and be like, yo, I found this Game Boy. Do you want it? And he'll buy it for you, and then, he'll give it to you a month or so down the road. You might run into Resident Evil, you'll buy it for him, and vice versa. So you can always, having friends helping you out, and you helping your friends out. I do it all the time with my friends. We don't necessarily buy stuff for each other, but we'll tell each other where things are. Because, I'm gonna be hunting through eBay or, Craigslist or something, and I'll see something and I'll send the link and I'll be like, yo, aren't you looking for this? Or they'll maybe do the same for me. And it's just nice to have friends who are also in this hobby, because you can help each other. It's just like, You might be a runner. I run a lot. I don't have friends that run, but I run a lot. You might want to start marketing yourself with other runners so you can have people to run with. That's the same thing with game collecting. You're going to want to market yourself with other collectors so you can have people to collect with. Number 2, pay attention to YouTubers and Twitch streamers. The reason I say that is because YouTubers and Twitch streamers that are in the retro community, they have a certain thing that, you know, it helps you out a lot. Like when I was first starting, when I was probably 13 years old, when I first started taking collecting seriously, I was watching a lot of Metal Jesus Rocks. I'm 20 years old now, by the way, so if you ever watching this video, Mr. Jesus, that's how long I've been watching you. But by watching them, you can get kind of an idea of games to find. Like myself, I like to go for complete collections, so a lot of them won't help me, but the things I don't want a complete collection for, like I don't want a complete Game Boy collection, I don't want a complete Nintendo DS collection, but what do I do want complete collections of? Nintendo 64, PlayStation stuff, Xbox stuff, that kind of thing. So I can watch videos from him of things that I'm not going for a complete collection of, and I can see games that, you know, I would have never heard about anyways. Like, you know, his Hidden Gem series for Dreamcast, you know, Atari, that kind of stuff. That really helps people in finding games that they might want to get, you know, they might want to play. You know, a lot of people say, oh my god, he's just doing this to raise the price so he can resell them. Oh my god, bad. It's really not about that. He has this thing where, like, he just wants to help people collect. He just wants to help people find things that they wouldn't otherwise know about. And, you know, a lot of us that are already hardcore into collecting, we know what to look out for. We know this stuff. But newcomers don't know this stuff. Like these tips that I'm giving now, people who have been in game collecting for a while probably already know all of this. But if you're just starting out, this is a good starting point. And if you watch the Twitch streamers, like my favorite retro Twitch streamer is Dorr. And he does a whole lot of random retro games, whether it's from PlayStation Portable or all the way back to old Sega stuff. He plays it all, and occasionally he'll watch videos on his stream which goes through every single game from a certain console, and it really helps you out a lot in finding games that you might want to play or that you think is going to be great fun that, you know, you might have never saw or thought about otherwise. And then there's speedrunners like Arcus87. He'll play like some random game, mostly like Ninja Gaiden, Zelda, Mario, that kind of stuff, for, you know, however long until he gets a world record or a PR. And, you know, it's just one of those things. You can find those guys and you can see games that you might not otherwise have liked. Because I mean, think about it this way: when you want to play new PlayStation games or new Xbox games, what are you doing? You're out here watching YouTube videos of games, like reviews and stuff. So why not watch those games for retro stuff too? It just helps you collect better, especially if you're not going for a complete collection and you just want certain games, you know, certain eras or certain things. It just makes it easier. And number 1, this is probably the most important tip I'll give you like all day. Be patient. It's important to be extremely patient. So many people get into things and they quit immediately because they don't get the results they were hoping for. You know, it's just the same when you start working out or something. If you're not losing weight or you're not, you know, seeing results immediately, you're gonna quit. But it's the same thing with retro game collecting. You might start collecting and you might collect for 6 months and you might have a collection just this tall. But still, that's a collection to be proud of. Or you might have a bunch of obscure, cheap games that other people might not be proud of, but you might be proud of, but you don't want to show it off because you don't want people to make fun of you. Be patient, because you will eventually build your collection. Every collector that's going for a full set, they gotta buy those cheap, obscure games too. So just because you have those and you don't have, you know, Earthbound or Little Samson or something, don't worry about it. It's really not that big of a deal. And don't buy games just because you see a price. Wait for it. Just be patient. You know, I'm currently looking for a NES Game Boy. They go for $300 on eBay, but I know eventually I'm going to find some soccer mom on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or even maybe eBay that's going to be selling one for like $15 that doesn't know what she's had. Just stay patient and wait for that soccer mom or that soccer dad to put something out there that is just completely absurd in pricing compared to what it normally is. Like, for example, Jaws Unleashed. I just bought it for $4. Apparently, people try to sell that game for $80 on the internet. If I was going to buy that game on the internet, I would be way out of luck. And the sun's coming up, so now half of this video is going to have different lighting. But anyways, I know if I be patient, I can find everything I'm looking for and not necessarily, you know, have all this money to have to spend. And it also pays to check out Goodwill, check out your local game stores, retro game stores. Even GameStop sells some retro games now in some locations. Mine does. I don't know if yours does, but mine does. And you know, just be patient. Whatever you're meant to find or what you're looking for, it'll come to you. You know, you gotta wait it out. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not gonna complete an Xbox 360 collection in a year. You're not gonna complete it in 2 years. I've been working for 2 years to get the complete collection. I mean, I've been playing Xbox 360 since like 2006, but you're not gonna get a complete collection right off the bat. It's just not gonna happen unless you're gonna be one of those guys that pay like $17,000 on eBay for someone else's complete collection. It just pays to be patient. And you know, a lot of games are gonna be expensive games that are gonna come down in price. That's happened so many times to me. Like, for example, something I can tell you that if you were patient for, you would be loving yourself right now, but if you weren't, you're gonna be hating yourself. So back in August, when Yakuza was starting to build up its popularity in the Americas, if you wanted to buy Yakuza 1 or 2 on PlayStation 2, it was gonna run you like $100 for each copy, so $200 total, like $500 if you wanted a complete in-box collection. But now Yakuza 1 and 2 are like $25, $30 games. Daikatana by John Romero. If you go to a retro store, that's an... Why pay $150 for it at, you know, your local retro store when you could buy a complete in-box Daikatana off of eBay for like $15 and just send it to John Romero and he'll autograph it for you? Or at least in my experience he will. I haven't done that yet, but his wife told me he would. So yeah, just be patient, follow these tips, all 5 tips, and you too can have, you know, a better experience, a more fun time retro collecting. You know, these aren't the only tips you can follow. You might not even think these are the best tips I could have told you. But for someone that's just starting out, this is how I personally feel that these would be the tips that would be, you know, best for them. Or someone who's just been doing it for a while but hasn't taken it seriously. I do feel these are the best for people like that. So with that being said, try not to die. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My name is CRUZANDO, and I'll see you, bang, in the next video.